Donald Trump is now threatening to move the RNC out of Charlotte. That is if North Carolina doesn't allow crowds to pack out the Spectrum Center. The president sent out a series of tweets saying he loves North Carolina and insisted on the RNC being in Charlotte. But he says the governor's restrictions cannot guarantee a full attendance in August. He says they would be spending millions of dollars without knowing if the Republican Party can fully occupy the Spectrum Center. The president says that if the governor doesn't fully reopen, and soon, they will, quote, be reluctantly forced to find another RNC site. Well, Governor Roy Cooper's spokesperson responded to the president's tweets later this morning, saying state health officials are working with the RNC committee to review plans on how to hold the convention in Charlotte. The spokesperson adds, North Carolina is relying on data to help protect residents. And it's important to note here that President Trump is not a party in the RNC contract. It's only between Charlotte and the RNC host committee. RNC and city leaders have told Channel 9 that they are still planning for an in-person convention. Also breaking right now, people protested in South Charlotte to reopen the state. The rally at Morrison Regional Library is one of several rallies happening in North Carolina right now. Our Elsa Gillis is live for us now. And Elsa, can you walk us through what's happened there in just the last hour?
Well, Brittany, about 45 minutes ago, participants pulled out of this parking lot for a driving style rally around the South Park area. I'd say there were a few dozen people who gathered here first. Take a look at the video we captured just a short while ago. Organizers tell me it's in conjunction with the Reopen North Carolina movement across the state, and today's rally has two purposes. One, it's for Memorial Day to honor those who have fought and died for our freedom. But they say it's also about fighting for freedom now, calling on the state to reopen more businesses, saying 50% capacity isn't 100% freedom. And other businesses like gyms and bars should be able to open and allow people to follow social distancing and sanitation guidelines. They say it's about the ability to make their own choices. Under phase 2, restaurants, salons, and barbershops, pools can reopen at 50% capacity. Gyms, bars, playgrounds, and some other businesses remain closed. The governor said an increase in positive COVID-19 cases signified a need to take a more modest step forward. Here's what one of the organizers said to me today.
We need to find a way to reopen the economy and keep the people who are at risk of this virus safe.
Now, Brittany, the organizer said the plan is to circle the South Park Mall area and potentially meet back here afterwards. Back to you.
All right, Elsa, thank you so much. And now is an important time to remember that Memorial Day, it's not about the barbecues or the trips to the beach. This is a time to honor those in our military who made the ultimate sacrifice. McEwen Funeral Service streamed this year's event on Facebook. Members of the Charlotte Fire Department laid wreaths, and others talked about how important it is to recognize the sacrifices that members of the military make every day.
The men and women who've given their lives have made the ultimate sacrifice. They've given everything. Their families have suffered, and we thank them for it. We can't let them go forgotten.
We can't. We are all so grateful for their sacrifice, and it's incredible how touching that is. Even though you can't be there in person, you can still feel the sentiment of that moment. If you are out today, you're going to feel the temperatures dropping just a bit. We're still going to be in the upper 70s, but it's a huge difference after we were in the 90s yesterday. We got meteorologist Keith Monday tracking the rain chances that are going to be sort of back and forth, on and off all week. Keith.
Yeah, so they're still with us today, but thankfully we're not going to see a repeat, Brittany, of what we dealt with yesterday with those very gusty thunderstorms that rolled through, and obviously the severe weather threat that we had a couple days before on Friday. So far, so good. Quiet on live early warning Doppler 9, but as we head our way through the afternoon, we will be seeing a few downpours develop. So far, it's only out west toward the mountains, seeing some activity develop right along the Tennessee line. It's the mountain areas down through the upstate of South Carolina that hold that best chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. And the temperatures, boy, big difference from this time yesterday. We're already well to the 80s at this point. We're 74 in Charlotte now, even a few 60s, holding on to that, 65 up into Statesville, not warming up nearly as much for today. You'll notice on the far left of the screen is where most of the downpours will be today, just kind of skirting through our western counties through the afternoon. Areas from Charlotte East should be pretty quiet. Can't rule out a couple spotty showers, but not as widespread. nor as intense as yesterday. So hopefully we can get some dry time for outdoor plants for today. Coming up, we'll discuss the outlook for more heavy downpours coming our way throughout this week.
All right, Keith, we know a lot of folks are itching to be outside today, and this Memorial Day, we know officials are going to be keeping a close eye on the parties and the beaches. They want to make sure that there are no outbreaks or spikes in cases as states start to reopen. Hundreds of thousands of people packed the beaches, the boardwalks, and the pools all up and down the East Coast over the weekend. In Houston, Texas, look at this. People packed this nightclub. The mayor says he will step up enforcement after more than 250 social distancing violations in just 48 hours.
And you were all in close proximity with other people, I would encourage you on Tuesday to go to one of the 27 free testing sites in the city of Houston and get yourself tested.
And in some states, places of worship reopened their doors despite being in potential hotspots. President Trump called on governors to allow in-person services this weekend. And many people will be grilling hamburgers, chicken, hot dogs, all that today, but it comes at a price. Our meat packing plants are dealing with outbreaks, and that has forced some to close their doors. That impact felt at the grocery store. ABC's Will Rees looked into how long this impact could last.
Memorial Day might look different this morning for millions of Americans amid the pandemic.
But what we have seen, the disruption across the entire food supply chain.
The nation's food industry taking a hit, reeling from the effects of COVID. Authorities say food packing plants are coronavirus hotspots, along with nursing homes and correctional facilities. According to the CDC, nearly 5,000 meatpacking workers at 115 facilities in 19 states have been infected with COVID-19. Dozens of plants across the country closing for days or even weeks to slow or stop the spread of the virus.
The facility itself did not really have a proper method in place to really protect the frontline workers. And we started to see one plant after the other really got exposed.
Just last week, Tyson Foods confirming 570 workers in one of their North Carolina poultry facilities tested positive for the virus. That's more than a quarter of the plant's total workforce. And it's not just meat plants. Last week at a Dole Fresh vegetable plant in Ohio, health officials identified 20 cases of COVID. They say the company is doing everything right in the heat of the outbreak and is working with authorities on contact tracing. Dole saying it will continue to place employee health and well-being above all else. But with supplies down, prices are surging. This month, fresh beef rose 11.9% compared to last year, chicken increasing 7.5%. And the pandemic is not just affecting our meat supply this Memorial Day. Consumers are reportedly paying 4.5% more for carbonated drinks like soda and 3.8% more for snack foods.
What we are seeing, obviously, the higher prices, shortages in certain commodities, and this will continue. This impact will actually outlast the virus itself.
And we told you about outbreaks here in North Carolina, including at the Tyson plant in Wilkesboro. There, nearly 600 workers have tested positive. The company says that about 25% of its workforce in Wilkes County has the virus. The state says that there is an outbreak at a plant in Burke County, too. The only plant in that area is Case Farms Chicken.